Hello children, we will continue the lesson, the Blue Bead, and we stopped there in page number 96, second paragraph, and we will continue from there. The beginning of the lesson, the writer has described the crocodile, where it lived, and the background of the crocodile, place where the crocodile lived. And she has introduced the crocodile in the beginning of the story, because in the last part of the story also we will come across the crocodile. So the vigorous nature of that ferocity of the crocodile is given in the beginning of the stories to prepare our mind. And in the second part of the story, what we have seen, it's about the poverty of the protagonist in this story, that is Sibia. How poor they were, how she lived a very simple and below the poverty life, what she wore and what she had and what she longed to have, and how she spent her days in the marketplace, longed to have all the things but not having money in her hands to buy and enjoy it. She lived in her childhood state in such a poor condition, forced to work, and the writer has given in many places, she was born to toil, born to work. And though she was below 15 years, only 12 years girl is introduced in the story, know what to cook and how to work, all the everyday work a woman can do. So though she was a child but had every experience of a woman in early stage. So in the where we stop, there also it is given that Sibia in all her life from birth to death was marked for work. It is repeated. Why the writer has repeated these points? It is because she wanted to give the simple life of the poor people. And she had asked what all the work she did in her 12 years of age. Husk corn, that means pressing the corn and taking the corn from that crop, and gathered sticks for firewood and put dung to dry. And this is another part of the work the village people do. The gobar, they will make it like a cake, and it's called dung cake. In sunlight they dry it up for cooking, and fetched water for cooking from long distances. And also, apart from the household work, she went to cut grass for the fodder also. So these are the work she did. And now let's continue that. She was the everyday work she did, and apart from that, what the earning part she involved in. So what did she do? She was going with her mother and some other women now to get paper grass from the cliffs above the river. So every day they go to collect some paper grass. It is for selling. Where do they go? They will go to the cliff above the river. There is a cliff, is little rocky place. When you had enough of it, you could take it down by bullock cart to the railhead and sell it to the agent, who would arrange for its dispatched to the paper mills. So second time this railhead is given, that means they were away from the main link of the conveyance. Their place is away from the main link of the transport. If they want to take anything from their village, if they want to have a community with the community, society, or the movement with the different people, they have to walk till the railhead, and they are away from the main link. So after they collect the grass enough, they will come to the railhead to sell it. And there, who will be collecting it? From there, this is given very nicely. Those who have the idea about the villages away from cities and not nearby conveyances or the transport, they can understand. From their village, if they want to come to the main link of the transport, they have to come by the bullock cart, and they will bring it to the railhead, and then there the agent will there, and they will collect it from them for the cheaper rate, and they will dispatch it to the paper mill for the better sales. Like people come to the village to collect the vegetables and sell it to the main market, like that. The women often toiled all day at this work. So who go for this kind of work? Women of the village, all day from the morning till the evening. And the agent sat on silk cushions. So the agent are men, and they will sit on silk cushions. See, the hard worker are the women, and these people who are going to earn more than what the people of the village do. So hard work, the part of the hard work is done by women, and the earning more will be carried by the agent. And what a luxurious life. This is what the discrimination and the inequality of the poor people and the rich people. The writer has given the clear picture about it, the inequality. So the agent used to sit on a silk cushions and smoking hookah, and there they will enjoy their life and sit and collect the grass, paper grass, which the women bring from their hard work. Such thoughts did not trouble Sylvia, because she is very young. She never thought of what a hard work the women are doing, what a luxurious life those agents are having. That never she thought of. So here again the writer is focusing on the simple and humble life of Sylvia. However, as she skipped along with a sickle and homemade hay fork beside her mother. Underline these two. In multiple choice question they can ask, what are the tools are made by these women or the village people who go for collecting the paper grass, made the homemade tools. Name the two homemade tools. There are two homemade tools are given there. Homemade means they themselves in the village itself they make it, not in the factory one, like sword and dragger or any other big tools which are made in the factories. Not, it is made by the people at home only. So what are these two? Hay fork and sickle. These are the two tools are made by the people of that village. You could skip on the way out. The writer says that when you are walking towards the jungle or to the cliff to collect the paper grass, one can skip out of it. That means move and do this or that work, or play or skip or do something which you can enjoy or watch there, or go to near the river bed or some trees, under the trees, or somewhere you can move around, but not on the way back. But when they come back, no one can. So whoever goes to collect the paper grass can move around or enjoy the nature or have some fun on the way to the cliff, not on the way back home. Why? It is because when you eat with tiredness, first thing you will be full of tiredness, and there was a great load to carry. Another thing, what you have collected from the cliff will be a load on your head. You have to carry it. So with the load you cannot run or enjoy or do as you wish. So some of the women were wearing, so this is the condition, because Sibia is also going along with that group of women as a small girl. She cannot enjoy as she wishes when she come back. When she goes, she can. That's what the story writer wants to say. Some of the women were wearing necklaces made out of lal beads, the shiny scarlet seeds, black on end, that grew everywhere in the jungle. It was best to have new necklace each year instead of last year's faded ones, and Sibia was making one too. How nice it was going to be her that rattling swish round her neck as she frowsed along with lots of necklaces. But each seed, hard as stone, had to be drilled with a red heart needle, and the family needle was snapped, so she must wait till they could buy another. Here I stopped writing. So here the women who were walking with her were wearing different kind of necklaces. Being a child and girl like to have this thing which the people are wearing around her, like to wear. That is natural. She also wanted, and she also collected the lal beads, seeds which are hard, and she also wanted to make a beads out of it. So that can be made by making hole in each seed. To pierce this hole in the seed is very hard. It is because the seeds of that kind of plant is very hard. So you have to make the needle. First, red hot means first you heat it up to make it so hot, and after that, because of that high temperature, you can pierce it in the hard seed to make the hole in it. So while she was making her own house needle, only one needle what they had was snapped, so she must wait till they could buy another that was broken in the middle. So you cannot use it for the purpose what she wanted, so she had to wait till the another needle comes. Oh, for strings and strings of glass and beads, anklets, earrings, nose rings, bangles, all the gorgeous dazzle of the bazaar, all her little golden body decorated. So she wanted to have all these kind of ornaments to be decorated on her. So what are the ornaments? Name the ornaments which are strings. That means connected with the strings of glass and beads. So what are the two things they were using to make these ornaments? Glass and beads. What are the ornaments they were making? Anklets, earrings, nose rings, bangles. And these are the ornaments generally the women of that village wore. Chattering as they went, the women followed the dusty track toward the river. So when they were chattering, talking and walking with the women, and they have come across the dusty track. The track was full of dust. And toward the river, they were going towards the river. The path was leading them towards the river. What type of path it was? Dusty. And where it was leading them? It was leading them towards the river. On their way, they passed a Guja encampment of grass huts where these nomadic graziers would live for a time until their, and this also I explain, I am repeating it. So they were come across Gujar, it's a kind of people that are tribal, or the people who live, jungly peoples, people who live in the jungles, that is junglis, tribal people. And they had the habit of moving from one place to other. Wanderers, they are the wanderers. Nomadic means wanderers. They move from one place to other place. They will not stick into only one place because they have the they are the their occupation is, or their work is to rear the animals. So when they rear the animals, they get milk from it and the milk product from it, and the people who are wanting to buy, if the demand goes down, then the people like to move. And another point is, as the animals will depend on the grasses which grow there, if it becomes less, or a scarcity of grass, or the animals have grass, all the grass grown over there, they move. And the third point, this also can be asked in the multiple choice. And the weaker animals, the animals which have got old, will be sold to the people who hunt tigers. And here the writer again gives us the picture of that time, how the people of the jungle, or the junglis, or the tribal people had their what you can say, everyday life that depended on different things. Some kind of people went for cutting grass, some kind of people were rearing the animals, and some kind of people had the hunting habit. So they hunt tiger and sell it in different way. So the people who hunt tigers will buy the weaker animals from the Gujar people. So if the want of that weaker animal is less there, or no demand for such animals in that place where they have encamped, and then also they move. So there are different reasons for them to move from one place to other place. Or perhaps a cattle killing tiger was making a nuisance. The last point is, if the place where they are staying is disturbed by the tiger, and the tiger comes and troubling them by eating their own animals, then also they will move from there. So different points are given, and only the points which are given will be used for your multiple choice. You cannot choose anything else which are not mentioned in the story. So you have to go through it very carefully. What are the reasons are there for the Gujar people to move from one place to other place? Now, the story writer is taking us to the other part. First, the writer has given us how the women were walking towards the cliff. On the way, they are crossing the river. And where the river, there nearby, these kind of people, nomadic people also live. So, the writer is giving us the picturizing the whole area where Sivya lived. So, the way towards the cliff, Gujar people lived. Now, Sivya glanced at the Gujar women. As she went past, they wore trousers tight and wrinkled at the ankles, and in their ears large silver rings made out of melted rupees. And one of them was clinking a stick against the big brass godas in which they fetched water from the river for the camp, to see which ones were empty. Say, what is the lifestyle of these people? Their clothes and their ornaments and their daily life, what do they do? So they make ornaments out of metals which are flattened by the metals and melted rupees, like that, made out of melted rupees, silver rings. Melted rupees means coins, that way they'll take it, and one they put it in the pot, because they wanted to know, because they will hang it inside. So if they want to know whether the pot has water or not, they will just shake it, and if the sound comes, that means it is empty, like that. They are men and boys. So the men of the men and boys of Puja people, what they do, they go to rear the animals and sell the product which they have got out of the animals to the marketplace. And one or other buffaloes will be standing there and giving the picture of the Gujar life. So the Gujars were junglis, as Sibia was too, born and bred in the forest. For countless centuries, their forebears had lived like this, getting their living from animals, from grass and trees, as they scratched their food together and stored their substances in large herds and silver jewelry. They were man in the wandering pastoral age, not stone age. Hunters and not yet cultivators. So they are the people like those people who were in the pastoral age, and hunters in the when they were hunters though in the stone age, who were not cultivators. So that group of people so belong to such tribal people, that jungly life, those who were, these are compared to that. So pastoral age people are like Gujars, and stone age people and hunters are like other people. Now there was the river. So we have come across the people who lived in that encamped nomadic Gujar people. Now they have come across that place and they are reaching to the river. Now there was the river. So after that encamp of these people, river is there, twinkling between the trees, and the writer is giving us the clear picture of the river. So the river is between the trees, and there the twinklings, sunlight beyond the dark trunks. So another picture one should imagine. You must have seen many pictures. In a thick forest, sunlight comes means like a twinkling stars. You can see that so many painting they show all this nature. They could hear it rushing along. So the water which is rushing along the hilly area is making sound. The women came out on the shore and made for the stepping stones. So the people who walk on the river side, they want to make a stepping stone on it. So they put a big stones to walk on it. They had plenty to laugh and bicker about as they approached the river in a noisy crowd. The people who were walking through that means the group of women who are going to cut the grass, will make, as they were grouped in a crowd, they will make a noisy crowd. They will talk a lot and shout a lot and laugh. They girded up their skirts. They lifted up their skirts, what they were wearing, so as to jump from stone to stone. So this is the lifestyle again, because they have to cross the river from jumping from one stone to another stone, because they cannot walk in the water. And they clamped their sickles and forks together over their shoulders. So the picture of the people who are going to cut the grass, they hang the sickles and the forks on their shoulder and lift their skirt up and jump from one stone to other stone. They shouted their quarrels above the gush of the river. So where they will have the talking, chatting in a louder voice, because one to hear, and also because of the rushing of the water will be greater. So they will make their voice greater than that. Noise, not only to make the people to hear, and the main purpose behind is noise frightens crocodiles. So majority of the animals in the jungles will be frightened by the noise produced. So these people shout and talk and make such a noisy um, way they talk. It is because to frighten the crocodiles. The big mugger did not move, and all the women crossed in safety to the other bank. So they tried to frighten it because they will not move, because they will be on the stone and taking sunbath in it, and they will not move, and that will be danger for them. So to make them too frightened, they will talk in a louder voice. Here they had to climb a still hillside. So after crossing the river, they have to climb the hill to get at the grass. So to get the grass means they have to go to the high cliff. But all fell to with a will and sliced away at it wherever there was foothold to be had. So they all climb with the help of the foothold. So they will support their foot on the hole of the cliff to climb on the cliff. So it will be like monkey climbs on the tree, or monkey climbs on the wall, and like that they will climb. Literally they climb by supporting themselves on the foothold. And when they were climbing, we have given the clear picture. Down the cliff, the river is flowing with the heavy, or that means rushing water is there, means rushing along, means such a heavy flow is there. So down below them ran the broad river, pouring powerfully out from its deep narrow pools among the cold cliffs, and shadows spreading into warm shallows lit by kingfishers. So there the picture is again given that when they were climbing the cliff, below them the river, and beside the river, what are the things? Broad river. The river is very broad, and it is pouring powerfully out from its deep narrow pools. So they are pouring their water to the pool, and then from the pool the water will rush along the cold cliffs, and shadows spreading into warm shallows. That river water made the shadow spread, lit by kingfishers. So kingfishers ki shadow dikhta. You can see that who have come to pick the fishes. Kingfishers are the birds standing. Great turtles. What are the things they can see there? Kingfishers. Great turtles live there. So turtles also big great turtles. Turtles live for years. And Magzir weighing more than 100 pounds. So these great turtles, as I have said, that it lives for years. So it will be more than 100 pounds of kilo weight. Big. And crocodiles too. Usme crocodiles also lived in that river. Sometimes you could see them lying out on those slabs of clay over there, but there were none to be seen at the moment. So you cannot, they will lie there, the crocodiles also, you cannot see that. When Sibia was working, wind coming across hundreds of miles of trees cooled her sweating body. So now our focus is taken to out of those women, the group of women, Sibia. So the writer has given us the whole picture in which Sibia moved, and out of that picture Sibia is taken separately. And when Sibia works there, as they have climbed up to the cliff, and we know that below that river and so many trees beside the rivers and high cliff, so the wind comes with a cool breeze there and making the sweating body of Sibia cooling, and she could look down over the river as if she were a bird. So like a bird flies in the sky, like this, the cliff is so high. From there she can look down the river as if a bird can see. Although she did not dare stop for a moment under her mother's eye, her imagination took her. She cannot move away from her mother's eye. That means mother always had her sight on her daughter Sibia. Her imagination took her in swooping flight over the bright water and golden air to the banks where she had played as a child. So she was along with their mother, but though she was with her mother, though she was working with her mother, but her imagination and fly like anything. And when she was working, she had an imagination, and she was sweeping flight over the bright water and golden air to the banks where she had played as a child. So when she was a small girl, because it is a routine work, and 12 years she had become a woman, what all the women can do. That means she was working from her very, very childhood age. So what all she did in her very young age, before that means 12 years is she has crossed as if she has crossed many more years in the life. So though writer has given us a clear picture what all the work she can do, that means she had learnt in her past years so many work, means she had come across all kind of enjoyment in her childhood days when they were coming to collect the grass. What all she had played, that she was imagining now. So we will stop here and we'll continue in the next class.